Hello everyone, my name is Reggina Onggatta and my registration number is 2705079. I am from University of Sumatera Utara, majoring in English Literature. Today, I would like to explain about English consonant in phonology. Speech sounds in English are usually classified into two categories, consonants and vowels. There are 24 consonants and 20 vowels in English phonemes. However, in this video, I will explain deeper about English consonant. So, what is a consonant? A consonant is a speech sound in which the breath is at least partly obstructed and which forms a syllable combined with a vowel. Many modern phoneticians and linguists such as Daniel Jones, Bloch, and McCully said that a consonant or speech sound is a phoneme whose articulation involves some audible obstruction in the oral cavity. During the production of a consonant, the movement of air from the lungs is obstructed because of the narrowing or the complete closure of the air passage. The classification of English consonant. On the way out, the air flow can be more or less obstructed, producing a consonant, or it is simply modified, giving a vowel. If you pronounce the V sound of the word pepper, you close your mouth completely and that is the utmost obstruction. Whereas if you pronounce the V sound of the word pe after, the mouth is more open than normal, the air flows as freely as it possibly can. First, phrasing or state of articulation. Phrasing or state of articulation is a term used in phonetics and phonology to characterize speech sounds. Speech sounds can be described as either voiceless or voiced. First, voiced sounds. Voiced sounds are sounds which are produced with complete closure. Here are the consonants which are voiced: b, d, g, v, d, z, z, l, r, z, w, z, n. Second, voiceless sounds are sounds which are produced without such vibration. Here are the consonants which are voiceless: p, t, k, t, f, s, s, h, ch. Second, place of articulation. Apart from the behavior of the vocal folds, sounds can also be distinguished as to where in the oral cavity they are articulated. That is, where in the mouth there is the most obstruction when they are produced. First, bilabial sounds. Bilabial sounds are sounds in which the airflow is modified by forming a constriction between the lower lip and the upper lip. For example, p in pay, b in bay, and m in may. Second, labiodental sounds. Labiodental sounds are sounds in which there is a constriction between the lower lip and the upper teeth. For example, f in safe and v in safe. Third, dental sounds. Dental sounds are sounds in which there is a constriction between the tip of the tongue and the upper teeth. For example, th in thin and d in den. Fourth, alveolar sounds. Alveolar sounds are sounds in which there is a constriction between the blade or the tip of the tongue and the alveolar ridge. For example, t in tu, s in su, d in du, z in zu, n in nuk, l in luk, and r in ruk. Palato-alveolar are sounds in which there is a constriction between the blade of the tongue and the palato-alveolar or post-alveolar region. For example, s in pressure, ch in batch, z in pleasure, and z in judge. 6. Palatal sounds. Palatal sounds are sounds in which there is a constriction between the front of the tongue and the hard palate. For example, y in yes. 7. Velar sounds. Velar sounds are sounds in which there is a constriction between the back of the tongue and the velum or soft palate. For example, k in back, g in back, ng in bank, and w in window. The last one, the egg. Glottal sounds. Glottal sounds are sounds in which the air passes through the glottis. For example, h in hike. 3. Manner of articulation. We have now identified 8 places of articulation: glottal, bilabial, labiodental, dental, alveolar, palato-alveolar, palatal, and velar. For any given sound, we will say whether it is voiced or voiceless, and what its place of articulation is. But to distinguish between the full of range of speech sounds, we will require a third descriptive parameter, which is manner of articulation. Stops or plosives. Stops or plosives are sounds which are produced with a complete closure in the mouth, so the air is blocked for a fraction and then release a small burst of a sound. Plosives may in sounds p, b, d, t, k, g, G. Second, affricates. Affricates are a combination of a possessive and a fricative. They begin like a possessive with a small closure, and then but instead of a possessive, they have a small release. Affricates may sound ch and z. Third, fricatives. Fricatives have a closure which is not quite complete. This means that the air is not blocked for any point and therefore there is no pollution. On the other hand, the obstruction is big enough for the air to make noise when it passes through it because of the friction. For example, fricatives may sound f, v, t, d, s, z, s, ch. Fourth, nasals. Nasals are sounds resemble possessives, except that there is a complete closure in the mouth. But as the volume is lowered, the air can escape through the nasal cavity. Nasals may sound m, n. Fifth, laterals. Laterals are sound where the air escapes around the sides of the tongue. There is only one letter in English, which is l. Six, approximants. Approximants are sounds where the tongue only approaches the roof of the mouth so that there is not enough obstruction to create any frictions. Approximants may sound r. In addition, tap or flap is a sound which is produced with a single contraction of the muscles so that the tongue makes very brief contact. Its place of articulation is dental or alveolar, which means it is articulated behind the upper front teeth or at the alveolar ridge. For example, a short r in Spanish, for example, pero, which is bath, and similar to the pronunciation of the sound represented by the double letter in American English, which is Betty, and some forms of British English, which is Berry. The last one, trill. Trill results when an articulator is held loosely fairly close to another articulator, so that it is set into vibration by the airstream. The tongue, tip, and blade, the uvula, and the lips are the only articulators that can be used in this way. Tongue tip trills occur in some forms of Scottish English in words such as rye or ire. All in all, the discussions on consonants can be summarized in this table. A sound on the left side of the column is voiceless and one on the right side is voiced. I think that is all from me. Thank you and see you!